Hey there guys, today we're going to be converting a computer power supply into a power supply for a car amplifier. And the first thing you're going to want to do is just take off any zip ties that are holding the wires together, just so that you have all the wires out like this. And basically you're going to want to cut off all these ends. Just cut them all off so that all of them are just bare wires with no connectors. And I'll be right back after I do that. Now that you've done this, you have a bunch of bare wires, and now that you've got all these bare wires, you're going to want to open up the power supply, taking out these 4 screws in the corner on the bottom of it. Oh, sorry, I just hit my little kitty. The top of it just looks flat and there's nothing on it. The bottom of it will usually have a fan, and the 4 screws, these screws hold in the fan, so we do not need to take those out. And I'll be right back with that open. So now that we have it open, we want to be very careful not to touch anything inside of here, because you can get a very bad shock, even possibly kill yourself, if you touch the wrong thing in here, because of those capacitors and possibly anything else holding a charge. So now that we've got this open, we just want to release any more cable ties that are in here. And we want to start sorting out all of the yellow cables and the black cables. Anything else we are going to cut off. So as you see, there's just another cable tie. You want to take that off. I'll try and do that with one hand. There we are. Anything that is not black or yellow, we're just going to want to sort out off to the side so we can cut them off later. And more cable ties to deal with. So now that we have all the black and yellows sorted out of all of the red, orange, green, blue, and yeah, that's about right. We just want to cut all of these off as close to their base as possible, making sure none of them can really short out if that was possible. And I'll come back when I have that done. Okay, I just about forgot. We need to keep the green wire, because that is what allows us to be able to turn on and off the power supply without actually having a motherboard connected to it. We just need to short that to a negative cable. So pretty much now that we have everything off except for the yellow and blacks, we want to count out all the yellows, and we want to count, and then we want to keep as many blacks as there are yellow plus 1, because inside the power supply here, we are going to short out the one black with the green. I'll be right back after I do that. Okay, so it turned out that I have 10 yellows, so I left 11 blacks and 10 yellows, yeah. So we're going to want to take one of these blacks and the green, and we're going to trim them down to about that length, and then I'm going to strip both ends and just twist them together and put some electrical tape over them so they don't short with anything inside of here. Now that we have those two twisted together, I've just put it around back because I'm not actually going to be using this due to it's a dead power supply. But now that we have both of those twisted together, we are going to want to strip every single one of these wires. That is going to take quite a while. But also, if you want to, just trim down the wires so they are all the same length, because right now there's some pretty short ones back here and then some pretty long ones coming up here around where the CPU would be plugged in. And I'll come right back after I have all of them stripped. Now that I've gotten all these stripped, we are just going to want to twist all the blacks together and all of the yellows together. Now that we have twisted all these together, I couldn't get these in with each other just because the head got so big.
That's what she said!
But we're going to want to put the yellows into the positive part of the amp, and then we're going to want to put the black into the negative part of the amp. I do not have my amplifier on me right now due to I'm in a different location, but pretty much we're going to want to run a wire from the positive terminals on the amp into the middle terminal that is called the remote, or REM. I believe it's marked on amps. And what that's going to do is whenever you turn on your power supply with the switch, it's going to turn on the amplifier through the switch here, instead of what would normally happen is when you turn the head unit on or turn the car on, the remote wire from the head unit would send a positive signal to the amp, essentially turning the amp on. So basically we're just doing that straight from the positives into the remote, then turning it on and off from the power supply switch. And the power supply will always be on whenever you switch the power on, because you have the green and negative tied together. And there you go, that's how to run a car amplifier in a house. I hope you enjoyed.
You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow